Allison, you know what? This is not my forte. Okay. All right. So,
I don't really think it's mine either.
Yeah, I'm not doing this right, but where are we? I'm having fun, but this looks different for us. Where am I?
Well, actually, Shauna, today on this episode of Get In Your Business, we're at Camden House.
Really?
I know, most people don't think like your nonprofits in this area are actually a business, but they are, and they have an economic impact on our area. And I really feel like here at Camden House, like this place is comfortable and cozy and like
warm,
there's things to do. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea about a domestic violence shelter, because it's not this little lean-to with just a roof over your head. It's so much more than that.
It's more of a home than a shelter.
Right?
It's like it's inviting.
Right.
Okay.
So we have caught up with Marcy Costello, who is the executive director at Camden House. And she is going to let us in on the services that they have, some things they may need, how you can help, just a lot of things. So let's go find Marcy and
get up in her business.
Yes, girl. Come on. So Marcy, thank you so much for having us today.
I'm so glad to have you here and to invite Camden County in for a sort of exclusive look at Camden House. Most people do not get to see Camden House.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just start from the basics. What is Camden House? For anybody that may not know, let's just start there. Go.
Camden House is a family violence service center. We have a myriad of services that we provide to victims of domestic violence and their children, and sheltering is one of those services. So that's why you're here today, to see our shelter piece. But there's so many other services that we provide, including temporary protection orders, outreach services. So all the services that we'll talk about today are in the shelter here. We also provide to anybody in the community. You don't have to come to Camden House to receive our services.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And that's a misconception that a lot of people have. They think in order to receive services, so when they hear shelter, they stop thinking and they don't, I don't need to call Camden House. I want everybody to know that they can call Camden House regardless of whether they need to have shelter or not. Temporary protection orders, we provide financial assistance, we provide case management, we provide transportation assistance, we provide medical assistance and counseling assistance, and you name it, and we do it. Our goal is to help anyone, male, female, doesn't matter, that has experienced domestic violence, to achieve a life that is independent and sustainable from abuse. That's what we're here to do. And so in order to do that, we have to address 360 degrees of a person's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So you name it pretty much, and we do it when here to help somebody so that they can move on to become independent, sustainable, and happy.
Wow. So one thing that you have ingrained in my brain from the years of us working together, it's everyone knows someone.
It's absolutely right. Everyone knows someone. We know from statistics, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. So whether it's you personally or it is someone in your family, it could be your teacher, it could be your babysitter, it could be your neighbor next door, it doesn't matter. It crosses all boundaries. It could be a person in your church, anywhere. If there is no socioeconomic boundaries, it doesn't discriminate based on race or gender or how much money you make or don't make. It's everywhere, because domestic violence is about power and control. It's not about physical abuse. It's about power and control. So that's the piece that transcends all other barriers.
Wow. So when we were upstairs earlier, I was thinking maybe everybody would be like living in the same room together. That is not the case.
No.
There's a safari room. They're all named, and it's really, really cute. So tell us about the different living situation, like the different rooms.
So one of the things that we want to dispel today is that stigma of what shelter life is.
Right.
Because it is important. If somebody wants to uproot their whole life and try and move on, they don't want to have a fear of where they're going to go while they're doing that transition. So we do everything we can to make Camden House as warm and as welcoming as possible. You guys got done playing air hockey.
It really is. Like, that's the one thing I felt like I was at home. Like, it has that homey feeling.
Inviting feel and protective.
Right.
It's very safe.
very safe place.
Yes, our primary concern here is safety above and beyond all safety and confidentiality. So that's why today you won't see any pictures of the building. And we do confidentiality agreements to try and keep people know where we are, but the goal is just not to spread it around. We do have security. We have cameras monitoring the entire property. We have fantastic partnerships with our local police departments, and they help provide us with those safety features and make sure that we're safe, and they're always checking up on us. And but while you're here, we want you to be comfortable, because we want to take away the things that you're worrying about so you can focus on the things you really need to do.
Okay.
So what services do you, like, what all is in this house? Like,
Well, as I said, that 360 degrees. Everyone that comes into shelter has their own room. Each family has their own room. In some shelters, you're required to share with other people. We don't do that here. You have your own room. You have a kitchen that you can prepare your meals each day. We have a fully stocked pantry. We have a children's play therapy room. We have our community and media room. We have the children's playroom upstairs. We have our check-in and advocate area upstairs that monitors all of our cameras, our doors, because you can't get in the building unless somebody physically lets you in. We are also handicap accessible. We do have rooms downstairs that are able to be accessed. We have laundry facilities on the premises upstairs and downstairs. We have a computer lab, and then
This is good. This is good.
We have a full complement of staff that is here to help you with all your case management needs. We have a legal advocate that helps with temporary protection orders and victims of crime assistance. We have a full-time children's advocate that helps because children are part of the family, and 25% of all children have been witnesses to domestic violence in their lifetime. And that we know that children that witness domestic violence are much more likely to suffer from depression and suicide and drug and alcohol abuse. So we try to help address those needs with, we have support groups, both for adults and for children, individual support for adults and for children. And the list goes on. And the list goes on. We do not own the rights to this song.
So I have been super impressed with how you've really gathered some community support, and you've got some different things going on. How can our community get involved, give back? I know I've tried to answer that question for a lot of people lately. So how can they help out Camden House?
There's a number of opportunities in that 360 degrees. We always need volunteers. Anything that we do, if we can find a volunteer service that can provide that for us, that's that much less of our financial resources we are investing in that area, that we can then focus on our participants to help them as they transition with their life. So it could be something as simple as helping with yard work, somebody interested in maybe answering the hotlines, the support hotlines. We have a donation room in a boutique that we always need help sorting and going through. It piles up and becomes so cumbersome. Without that, then our programming staff have to come off and do that, and then that's less time they have to spend working on our case management needs for our participants.
Okay.
So you said that, that people can answer the hotline. So the training will be provided through the...
Absolutely. So we have different roles as a volunteer. We have some that don't require, you just fill out your application paperwork. We have some, any that actually work with our participants, you do need to pass a background check. And there are certain ones that require additional training, which we provide all of that. We pay for all of that. We pay for all of that. So volunteers are always really key. And anybody that's interested in volunteering, all they need to do is contact the main hotline, and they'll get you in touch with our program support, Antoinette, and she will hook you up and get you rolling in the program. We always need money too,
I was going to say, no, you guys were just hit with a tornado not too long ago.
We've had a very, everybody has had a very difficult few years, but in a congregate living situation, that has been really difficult for us. I mean, imagine sanitation needs and cleaning needs and everything when you went to the grocery stores and you could only get one. Well, I have a house filled with families, and when I was trying to purchase things and I could get one, made it really difficult. Our community stepped up tremendously to help, but the additional expenses we incur as a result of COVID. Then Ilsa came through, and we were hit with a tornado as a result of Ilsa, and that caused about $86,000 worth of damages to the property. We are fully recovered. No one was hurt. And we are also now facing significant cuts from our federal funding stream. Over the last 2 years, they have cut our funding stream about 37%. So that's about that's equivalent to about $110,000 a year. So we are still moving, though. I want to say this: we are 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have never once stopped providing services. Through all of that, through the tornado, through COVID, not once did we stop providing services.
That is perfection.
That's amazing. So, go ahead.
To men and women, because we always tend to forget that piece.
But remember the men.
Remember the men. We also provide all of those services to men. We alter our service model a little bit, but we always want to make sure we put that out there. Men are victims of domestic violence, and we want to make sure they know we're here for them as well.
Excellent.
Now, I know we've mentioned the hotline several times. Is that the best way to get a hold of you guys, whether it be for help or to volunteer?
Yes,
Okay.
that's our main line, and it is staffed 24 hours a day, and they know how to funnel that information to the person that you need to talk to.
Okay, and what is that number?
It is 912-882-7858. I almost gave you my home number. That would have been bad.
That would have been different. That would have been different.
So is there anything else that I haven't touched on today? I feel like
because there's so much.
There's so much.
And so much good taking place here.
Shauna was upstairs just saying, "You've just been going on and on."
It's
And I'm like,
a
"Oh,
lot.
there's so much.
It's a lot.
There is so much. We again, 360 degrees of a person's life is a lot, and so we have to be able to, an example. If someone were to come into shelter with their family, they may not have any of their documents. We need to help them get their social security cards, their driver's license, their birth certificates. We help them look for a job. And if they find that job, we help them with transportation assistance if they need that temporarily. We help them if they find a house to live, then we are there to help them with deposits and first month's rent. And then we help them, and a lot of times you'll see this on our Facebook page, our reach out, we actually help them furnish the homes, because if they're in shelter, they're living in a room, and they have to leave that stuff here with them, but they can take their stuff. So we do our best to make sure when they move into a house and leave us, that we've done everything we can to eliminate barriers that might make them want to go back. Because we know it takes 6 to 9 times usually for a domestic violence victim to leave for good.
Really?
And that's if they live that long. So we want to eliminate those barriers. And likewise, once they leave here, because as we said before, you don't have to come to this shelter to receive services. If they're in the community and their abuser is no longer with them, they still may need our help. What if their abuser has been locked up and they need help paying rent or help paying utilities? Maybe they need some food boxes. All of that we can help with, because our goal is to help them continue to be living independently and safe without the barriers, and we try to help them remove those barriers.
That's amazing. So you really are getting people back on their feet, giving them a second chance. I think that's just amazing.
And we're helping them become part of their community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're talking about victims that have been isolated from the community. So now we're also creating citizens in our community.
Wow. It's Rachel Baldwin would say taxpayers.
Taxpayers.
That's right.
So let's give the hotline number one more time so we have that.
It's 912-882-7858. And most of our information, our updates and our urgent needs, because we're talking about things we might need, we post on our Facebook page on a regular basis. Our Facebook, and they're also going to be on our website, which is camdenhousega.org.
Perfect.
But yes, so those are money and your bodies. No.
Yeah. We need your time and your money.
Yes.
So good deal. Well, thank you so much for letting Shauna and I get in your business today. We've had a great time. We've learned so much.
Very educational.
Yes.
Very informative. Very necessary. Thank you for being here.
And you saw what it was like a few years ago.
Yes. I dropped off donations through the auxiliary, and the difference is phenomenal. Bright, cheery, welcome, safe, happy, all the great adjectives. It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a good thing.
We want victims of domestic violence, when they show up, to understand that they have value and worth.
Absolutely.
And they are worth it. And so that's what we try to do here.
And clean.
It's so clean. Yes. So thank you so much. I could stay here and talk to you all day. Y'all please like and share. Like she said, everyone knows someone. This is for information. If you know anybody that wants to volunteer, come here. Let's talk to the hotline, see what we can get going. So thank you, Marcy.
Yeah.
Y'all please like and share.
Bye.